All right, well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Dumbass Film Students, where young filmmakers and alike, we come together, we give our irrelevant opinions that matters to us, but not to Hollywood, so we just come and drop them on YouTube for y'all to view them. My name is Rudy Wilson. I am one of your cast members / host. Got my brother from a totally different mother, Mr. Lonnie Cox. `What's poppin', bro?
What's up, everybody? It's good to be here.
Got the fresh haircut and shit, looking like a drill sergeant / linebacker / head coach of a 4A state championship winning team.
And in Alabama.
In Alabama. And of course, we got the creator of the Redlands himself, Mr. Daryl D.A. Henry. What's poppin', bro?
Hi, how's it going?
Always got a dope background too, man. That I like the Spider-Verse. The
Into the Spider-Verse, man.
Yeah. What was his name on there? What was his name?
Miles.
Miles. Right. Yeah, that was a good movie. I like that one.
Excellent movie.
Way better than I thought it was going to be.
Comic book style of that movie.
No, for sure. And of course, we got a special guest. We always bring a guest on, man. This guy here is I consider him a young filmmaker, but he considers himself old in anything that he does. So, I mean, but he got the guns out, whether the sun is out or not.
Doesn't matter.
He'll bring the sun with him, like The Rock probably doing like Fast and Furious, fucking 15
my
or
dream
something.
movies to be in.
He would definitely fight The Rock if he was in a movie for sure. Definitely big enough. But real good guy, man. Met him out here in L.A. The light just cut off. Met him out here in L.A. Like I said, dope filmmaker, man. He's working on a project of his own. We'll talk about it more. Mr. Justin Stapleton. What's up, bro?
Hello. Hi, everybody.
What's going on, man? How you been, bro? How's the quarantine and everything treating you?
It's been good, man. Us barring all the craziness going out in the world, it was good to have a little bit of downtime, a little decompression time, and had to take a little bit of time off from the script, but I'm back to work and making it happen. So,
gotcha.
I want to shoot.
Have you taken off from working out any? Just out of curiosity, have I
taken off from work not any? Yeah. No. I could say I probably took about like a week off, but I found a way to make it work out.
Yeah.
It's all home workouts. It's all home workouts.
It's like your tank top is hanging on your traps like hooks, it's just hanging on like perfect like a hanger.
I got the secret sauce when it comes to working out traps.
Gotcha.
I know the fundamentals. I watch people in the gym all the time, especially young people, and I'm like,
They probably doing something like this.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys don't even know. You don't even know the tricks, man.
You fucking up.
Justin got some old school. He's not even using this trap. He's just in there just moving his eyebrows like this and shit. And it just building.
Idiots.
They don't even know.
I'm like, it's going to take you 15 years to figure this out. Just like it did me.
No, that's dope. So I already know this, but I know you were a military veteran. You was and explain this again. So you were in the Marines, but you were also in the Navy. You were in the Navy, but attached to the Marine.
Yeah. So I was in the Navy. I was in the medical field. I was what's called a corpsman, not a medic.
Gotcha.
It's essentially I was a combat medic. It's just that we take that as a derogatory term.
Gotcha.
And basically you sign up for the Navy, and then they ship you off to Marines. And depending on where you're at or what the situation is, you could be with Marines for a long time. You could be with Marines for a short time. I was with Marines for my entire career. Actually, it wasn't supposed to be like that, but that happened. And man, had some times.
Does the Navy have combat medics just simply for the Navy? So if you become a combat medic in the Navy or Marines, you're going to be with the Marines regardless.
Yeah, how it works is, so when you join, you get your rating, your MOS, your NEC, whatever branch you're in. And then like in all the other branches, they'll say, hey, you're a medic. But in the Navy, what they do is they say, hey, you're a corpsman, you're a medic, and you can either go blue side, which is working with the Navy, working in hospitals, ships, all that stuff, or you can go green side, which is working with Marines. So you're still under the same umbrella. You're just on two different spectrums. So I could either go work in a Navy hospital or I could go work on a Marine Corps base. And Yeah, in 2003, they didn't give you that option, obviously. They said, hey, I said, oh, I'll go work in the Navy. They're like, oh, no, you're going to go work with Marines. So you didn't get that option. So, especially in a time of war. So, time of war, you're definitely going with Marines. And that was the deal for a long time.
So, question, because of your experience in the military, actually, let me backtrack. Does your family have a history of military, or were you like first generation or something?
Grandfather was in the military, had a lot of military service people in his generation. Both my parents were in the military. I was born in an Army hospital.
Wow.
Both my parents actually met in the military. They were in the same unit. Aunts, uncles.
What branch was your parents in?
Army.
Army, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I was born in Fort Hood in Texas.
Oh, you said an Army hospital. That's right.
Can I jump in here? Isn't there like a rival between all the divisions, like Army, Marines, Navy, and
yeah?
Yes and no.
Friendly rivalry.
It's a friendly rivalry. Yeah.
It's just you said your parents were in the Army, so I wanted to know how did they feel about you going to the Navy, Marine?
Oh, my dad was like, you're not. It's like you're not making a good choice going to the Navy because the Navy promotes really slow. But my dad was like, that's not very smart. Like even I remember after I got out after 10 years and I just barely reached E5, my dad was like, man, 10 years, you've been in the Army, you've been like you'd be like an E7 or E8. You've been back. All my dad said when I came back was, man, should have joined the Army. But I was in Iraq several times and I saw those Army guys and I'm like, nah, bro. No, when I thought about it, and then when I got there, I got in country, I was like, I'm glad I didn't join the Army. It's a little bit it's all good.
No, that's real. So what I was going to ask you is, so as a result of your Army history, as far as family, your own personal career, in reference to movies, does that whole background drive you towards like you liking a lot of war movies and movies about like Army or whatever like that, or?
I would say yes and no. I would say that when there is a war type movie, I'm kind of instantaneously drawn to it, especially if I see like Marine Corps uniforms or I see Navy uniforms. I'm like, oh snap, because most of the time it's usually stock. It's usually stock like Army uniforms, and and very rarely is it like
somebody on the movie got like the collar popped up or some shit.
Exactly. Very rarely is it like they're like Lance Corporal such and such from Second Marines Air Division or something, and you're like, whoa, So I'm drawn to it, but at the same time, like if it's like they're talking about Iraq like 2009 or 2007, I'm like, we'll see, because I'm one of those people where, especially in the military, like I have to have accuracy, and it can't be like, okay, for instance, like in the Marine Corps, everybody's troops, they're not called soldiers, so little things like that. So I'm like, oh, we got a bunch of soldiers. I'm like, I'm sitting here with my girlfriend, and I'm like, well, they don't actually call them that.
Right.
Who cares? It's a movie.
Right.
So
and Justin, I know like most people don't notice that stuff.
Yeah. So
I am also a person that notices. I love war movies. My family has a big military history, and if there's something that's inaccurate, it fucking takes me out of the movie.
Absolutely.
It loses me.
100%. And I think that's good that we're going to talk about the old guard too, because there's a part in there that I was like,
you know what's crazy? You know where I was stationed at? It was called the Old Guard. So like when you first said the name of the movie, I thought it had something to do with that. Yeah, where I was stationed at in Fort Myer it's in Arlington, Virginia, because it's attached to the Arlington National Cemetery. But I normally just say DC because how close it is.
Whoever the writer was, whoever the creator was, they might have taken it from that.
Well, I don't know, because and we'll get deeper into it. But I'll wait to talk about that. But I'll just say, but I was interested to watch, because even where I was stationed at, it was actually it was a dual base. It was Army and Marines.
Oh yeah, like a joint task force type.
Yeah, joint base. Meyer was the Army side, and Henderson Hall was the
Navy side.
But it was a very, very, very small base, ceremonial. We did like all the I don't know if you ever heard like the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Yeah, I've been there.
So that I was stationed at the base that's basically attached to that cemetery.
I was in Quantico for like 9 or 10 months.
Oh yeah, you know that then, because we trained at Quantico and shit. So gotcha for sure. So what got you from medical and military and all this type of stuff to saying lights, camera, action?
Well, I'll keep the story brief because it's a long story. But I'm actually from LA. I'm from here. So when I was here,
real LA, not Burbank. You from?
No, but I lived for a while in like Van Nuys and North Hollywood
right.
too. So I kind of bounced around. Broken family.
But you've also lived in.
Yeah, I lived on Crenshaw.
South
right
Central.
On Crenshaw. Yeah. By Dorsey High School, all that stuff. Yeah. And I lived there in the early 2000s when it was still like pretty rambunctious. Like all the people from the 80s and the 90s were still around, still hanging around when I was there. I don't know how it is now, but
right.
Because I never go there.
I don't either.
When I was there, there's a famed Magic Johnson Theater.
Right.
That was a really popping one. It was across the street from the Crenshaw Mall. It was like the whole happening spot, the whole happening area there. I think the Johnson Theater is gone now. Probably sold them for like $500 million or something crazy. I mean, he owns most of LA, so what are you gonna do?
Right.
So yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you look at the Proud family, they basically were making fun of him with Wizard Kelly.
With Wizard Kelly.
Yeah, on the Proud Family, it's a TV show. Just keep going.
I might have missed it. DA coming with information like, wait, what? The silence. No, so I'm from here, and I've loved movies my whole life. I've loved acting my whole life. I've loved directing and filmmaking pretty much my whole life. But when I was here, I remember I used to go from like LA to North Hollywood and back, and I used to catch the bus Hollywood and Highland, where everybody tours and everybody does all this stuff. I used to catch the bus over there like smoking a cigarette, like 15 years old. And I remember being there and not really appreciating all this stuff because obviously have no direction, not know what I want to do. And I would be like, this place sucks. There's too many people. I just want to get out of here as fast as I can, all that other stuff. Go in the military, do all that stuff. Military ends, and then I end up in South Carolina. And at the time I was in South Carolina, I had a couple friends that just shot little local things. And they were like, hey, you want to do some acting? Just little local stuff. Go nowhere type little things. Beginning of social media, YouTube, that kind of stuff. And so I was like, yeah, I'll try it, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people would, clown because they were like, oh, he's from LA. He's probably an actor anyway, that kind of shit. I'm like, no, I was in the military for like 10 years.
Right.
But as soon as the red light came on, I was like, oh my God. Like it took like 1 second. And right when it came on, I was like, okay, I love it. And I guess it's kind of ingrained in my blood and my DNA, that kind of stuff. And so I started doing it in South Carolina, but there's no money there. I got hooked up with a talent agency that I paid like $1,000 to. They took my money. It's like a cattle call agency. They took my money, set me on a few things. I had to pay for headshots. It was a whole thing. I didn't understand the business or know anything. Then moved up to North Carolina, and then back to South Carolina, and then finally down to Georgia, where I made my way to Atlanta. And then things started kind of like taking the whole time I'm still auditioning and doing all this stuff and kind of running around the world trying to figure this stuff out. And then when I get to Atlanta, things start to kind of like gel and everything. But to kind of shorten up the story here, I was already getting older at that point. So I was like, shit, now I'm in Atlanta, I'm getting paying jobs, I'm actually acting. People are paying me to act, which is there couldn't be a better job in the world.
Right, for sure.
You're getting paid to act. And someone gives you words on the script and you go do.
Right.
That's why people are like, acting is so stressful. I'm like, oh my God. Calm down, okay? But I was getting older and I was like, man, acting is such a short window, and there's less than 1% of 1% who make it to have a living wage, much less be wealthy, be a working actor. So I said, I need to learn how to do other things behind the scenes and behind the direct, write, produce something else so I can make myself, more marketable versus I'm just an actor, because nobody's just an actor nowadays. So And that's
sure.
what kind of led me here. So in Atlanta, and then moved out here. Sorry,
nobody's I'm saying nobody's just anything. It's like
no. And I saw that about 4 or 5 years ago, especially when Instagram really started getting going and social media really started getting going. I started seeing people like post things like hashtag producer, hashtag actor, hashtag director, hashtag, assistant director, all these things. I'm like, damn, everyone's kind of multifaceted.
Right.
I had the GI Bill, so I'm like, I better get out there and actually try to do something else. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least I know I can write, I can direct, I can do other things. And I can always go back to acting. So.
For sure.
Yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
So I guess in reference to the filmmaking side, not so much acting, but like, and I'm gonna go back to acting, but as far as the filmmaking side, like what type of films, I guess, like if you could be known for making this style of films, like they're like, yo, if you see a Justin Stapleton film, like, this is what he does. Like what type of, like what are you going for?
If I had a preference,
sure.
It would be like gritty drama with some action. I'm a Scorsese fan. So Goodfellas, Casino, obviously I love Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, all the Scorsese films, I like that. I like that good, really deep, really gripping, like real strong character-based, dramatic stories. Right. And if I was gonna say, okay, these are what Justin's, films he's known for, that would be it. Sprinkled in with a little bit of humor here and there, a little bit of dark humor. But I'm not a comedian. I probably could never write comedy. Just little cheeky things here and there. That would be it. You would be, if you went to go watch a Justin movie, you'd be like, oh, someone's getting killed. You're like, someone is getting killed in a brutal way.
Right.
It's not going to be good.
So what about if you were taking it the acting route? Like I guess if you could be strategic about what type of roles you were trying to take to build whatever type of brand, like what type of roles would you be going after?
Same type of roles. DiCaprio's my favorite actor ever. Mm-hmm. So,
yes.
Gritty, real, dramatic, Oscar-worthy type roles. Like whenever I'm doing any kind of acting job, it's been a long time now. I like when people give me a role, even if it's a small one, where I can invest in the character. If I read it and it's like really, really surface, I'm like, okay, I'll see what I can do. But if you give me the role and you're like, hey, look, this character has 2 lines, but these 2 lines are, this is where we're going with it. This character, he's got 2 lines and they get shot in the face.
Right.
So make, that kind of stuff. So
right.
You give me something deep and something like meaty I can sink my teeth into. Because I like performances. I like subtlety in performances, but performances that when you see De Niro in Casino, he's in the desert. He doesn't even say anything. He kind of just turns and his mannerisms are there, but you're like, oh my God. And it jumps off the screen and it's a magical, magical thing. And people are like, that's acting. That's the kind of stuff I like.
Right.
So if it's like a surface, like action comedy type thing, like a Fast and Furious, like a Kevin Hart movie or something, I think it would be fine for me, but I probably wouldn't have as much interest. Now, if they're paying me $75 million, then I'll do it. But it's not like I'm going to be so invested. But if you're like, hey, Justin, you're an undercover cop. You've been, working as like a Donnie Brasco character the last 5 years with the mob. You're on the verge of getting discovered, blah, blah, that kind of shit. I'm like, oh, my God.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Right.
I'll kind of like salivate and lose it. I probably do it for next to no money.
Right.
So
guys, so last question from me. Yeah. If you could choose between, I guess, like a more leading, just say black male role in the sense of like, your Denzel, Will Smith, whatever, or a famous actor, but who's more of a consistent ensemble duet type of person, more like a Samuel L. Jackson.
Like a character actor.
I guess maybe that's what it's called. Because I guess what I'm saying, like the reason why I say Samuel L. Jackson, because like he's very rarely like the I Am Legend of a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not, but he's definitely doing memorable parts in whatever it is that he's doing.
He's very
so
rarely the
like,
lead.
Yeah, his
Correct.
lead film was Snakes on a Plane. That wasn't so great.
But he's you know, he's one of the most acclaimed actors.
Yeah.
That's hard to say. I do have I have a desire for the spotlight. I think if you're an actor, you have to.
Mm-hmm.
You got to kind of crave that spotlight. It's I think it's kind of bogus. And I'll answer your question. I think it's kind of bogus when actors are like, you know, they're like, oh, I just want to act and I don't want people to. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I think that's all bullshit. Because if you didn't want to be in front of the camera, you wouldn't.
Right.
You know, you want people to see you. That's why you became an actor. Hang on 1 second, guys. Sorry.
No, yeah, no problem. Just pause it, DA. Hold on. All right, okay. He's back recording. You good? Go ahead.
Sorry. But for me, man, as long as I'm getting paid, I don't have to be the lead, but I have to have memorable performances.
Right.
Like that's my thing. If I'm the lead in a whole lot of shitty movies, and you're like, oh, Justin, they always put him as a lead, but damn, he kind of sucks. But I'm a supporting actor in 4 movies, and you're like, damn, he only did 4 movies, but they were all Oscar nominated. I could be 70 years old. He could be like, remember that movie he did in 2013? Oh my God, that was amazing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. Even when I've done a lot of theater. Even when I was on stage, like I love theater because it gives me a chance to just be as big as possible. I want you to leave and say, man, Justin is just out of control. He is so out of control. Like I have to see whatever he's in again. That's for me. That's my thing. So.
Gotcha. No, that's actually a funny perspective to think about, like being the lead in a bunch of trash movies. It's like Justin starred in like Black Buff Guy 1 through 15. They just keep rotating them out. It's just like, yeah, no, I'm done with this shit.
I mean, Vin Diesel's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You know, but think about it. Think about it like this. Joe Pesci hasn't been in a movie in 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And all of a sudden he's in a movie. God, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name. The Irishman.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an Irishman, and people that have never seen Joe Pesci act before are like online, like, oh my God, who's this? Young people are like, who's this Joe Pesci guy? That was amazing. That was brilliant.
They should have at least seen Home Alone, if anything. Jesus Christ.
But that's a different type of Joe Pesci.
But I'm saying for them to not know who he is at all, I'm saying they should at least have seen that, even if you haven't seen his more, you know, his more mafia stuff.
I mean, if you're under 30,
right?
You know, you probably saw Home Alone when you were like 4. You know what I mean?
Home Alone was lit, yeah.
I love Home Alone, but see, so that's my thing. Do you want to be that type of actor, where people are like, your performance, my God, it gave me goosebumps? Or do you want to be the kind of actor, and you don't have to pick or choose, you can have a balance, but do you want to be the kind of actor who gets paid, you know, $78 million and you're in Fast and Furious 37? It just all depends, because there's a difference between actors and thespians and movie stars.
For sure.
And very rarely are they the same thing.
People get into things for different reasons, you know,
and
I think every reason is okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
The Rock doesn't.
You know, people in sports, not everybody in sports cares about winning a championship. Some people just want to make a lot of money. And that's fine.
Very few care about winning that championship. After a couple years in the NFL, when the whole dream was to win a Super Bowl, they're like, I'm making $30 million.
Or somebody like Carmelo Anthony, you know, he comes to mind for me. He's like this, you know, he chose the money so many times. Bro,
he had a chance to go.
Prerogative.
He had a chance to go to Chicago in their prime when they were at the top, and he's like, I'm going to New York.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care. So yeah, it's priorities, you know, and it's just, for me, my priority is performance, you know, but I still want the money.
Say this. I understand. Gotcha. All right, cool, man. Well, now that we have gotten into your whole life story.
Sorry about that.
No. We dug pretty deep. No, I was definitely asking away. So we're going to get into the 3 movies that we have for this week. Moonlight, Deja Vu, and The Old Guard. We're going to start with Moonlight, directed by Barry Jenkins. And I purposely wrote this down because this is the real MVP, the cinematographer. James Laxton. Mississippi. Cinematography in this movie,
Beautiful.
phenomenal.
Top notch.
Beautiful.
Phenomenal. Okay.
A1.
But so just for the record, is there anybody who's on the side of disliking it? Yeah, you dislike the movie, right?
Oh, you know it. You know.
This fucking guy.
I want to hear that explanation from DA.
I'm on the side of liking it, but I do have one thing that I did dislike about it. Like I would have, and the only reason I'm pointing that out is because this movie was almost perfect to me in the sense of it being a good movie. Like it being a solid film from start to finish. It was almost perfect except for one thing, but I'll point it out after DA. You go ahead, man. Take it away.
I have to start off by saying that the movie, cinematography-wise, was great. It was beautiful, but I mean, the story. I mean, I get it, but I didn't really like it. I mean,
What about the story?
I mean, we following this dude who's trying to. This dude who's basically trying to discover himself, and honestly, I felt like the reason this really won awards was because it was like it gave the outside world into a look of, oh my gosh, growing up gay in the hood, this is what it's like, and it really didn't. It was an emotional story, yes, but besides, what was the purpose of this movie? What was his goal throughout the movie? To find himself,
living his life.
He was a human man.
If that is so, he found himself as soon as he broke that chair on the kid's back. He found himself. That moment, to me, that felt like, okay, this.
So this is where I'm gonna disagree with you on that about, because for one, and the reason I'm actually trying to pull it up now. Hold on, let me mute this. I'm actually trying to pull it up now because like the log line that they have for this movie is actually a very, very good log line.
What's the log line? Tell me.
I'm about to pull it up now. But the reason why I say that this was a good story, because most people, especially in movies, you're basically choosing one. Like you're gonna tell the story about the hood, or you're gonna tell the story about coming out gay. Mm-hmm. You've never seen, and this is because if you go to some places, especially in Atlanta, you will see hardcore thugs who are full blown gay, yes. and not feminine, not they and gay. And so what I'm saying is that there's not a story that has been told, like not that I've ever heard of or seen. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I think that because I'm the type of person, I say this almost every week, I like the pull back the curtain type of movie. Mm-hmm. Here's the log line. Hold on, wait. Here's the log line. In this acclaimed coming of age drama, a young man. Oh gosh, I just lost it. Give me 1 second. I moved the mouse. Okay, I'll come back to it when it pops back up. But this, like I said, this story. Okay, here we go. It came back. In this acclaimed coming of age drama, a young man who grows up poor, Black and gay in a rough Miami neighborhood tries to find his place in the world. Now,
I said that. I said that.
No. But you're saying what's the story in it? Number one, if you listen to me.
All right, I'm listening.
First of all, you've never lived in Miami. Okay, you've never lived in the hood of Miami.
Miami is nuts.
So you don't know how hard that is just to find acceptance as a person in that place. And then on top of that, now you're gay, and now you're trying, and you don't even know that you're really gay. You're trying to figure out, like, what does this really mean, whatever, like that, like, and you're trying to figure out all of that while, and kids in school, especially in Black schools. I mean, I remember being a kid, but I mean, of course, we lived not in 2020, we lived in the 90s as far as when I was in elementary school. But if somebody was gay or something like that, we definitely making fun of them when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, you're
ostracized. You know what I'm saying? Like
sure.
that's a thing. So when I seen it, even in this movie, like I'm like, yo, no, that's accurate. Like if there was a kid who something like a bunch of boys thought was gay, and you're not trying to bully them because they're gay, but it's just like you're different. Like, that's funny to us. Like, you like girly stuff, whatever, like that. So,
tell me
hold on,
something I don't know.
Okay.
Still stands.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
All right, go ahead.
Can I finish? So what I'm saying is, with you dealing with being gay, being in this hood, and then on top of that, you're poor, and then on top of that, your mom is strung out on drugs.
Oh.
So you're trying.
I want to answer. I want to answer DA. Let me do this. So what's the point of the movie, right? DA, that's the question that you're asking. What's the point of the story?
I never asked what's the point. I got the point. I said I got it. I said what was his goal? To find himself? And if that was it, the movie was over once he slammed that chair on the kid. And
so the goal. So you're missing some key elements of the film. At its base, this story is literally every other movie you've ever seen in your life stripped down to nothing. Right? It's like it takes Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, all that stuff, this hero's journey, and takes all of that shit and puts it in Miami.
Yeah.
Okay? So you've got this kid who is like coming around to his life. He's like leaving the cave. His eyes are opening to the world, and everything in the world is like beating the shit out of him. That tale could be told in any way you want. Like in any fantasy elements or whatever. It's a fucking tale as old as time. It's the story, the hero's journey, right?
Got it.
Then his fucking teacher is Mahershala Ali, who fucking blows it out of the water, and does some of the best acting you've ever seen. Like that guy is unbelievable.
Yeah,
you know.
You're not telling me.
And he becomes this. Oh my God, dude! This movie is a fucking masterpiece.
The point that I was trying to make is he's up against all of these things while trying to all of these things are one movie in itself is what I'm saying.
Correct.
I feel like there's something
trying to figure out your gay path. Listen, just let me finish. Trying to figure out your gay path, trying to figure out surviving in the hood. Like, should you be fighting? Should you be in the school book? Whatever. You're poor, mom on drugs. You're afraid to talk to people. All these different things. So, is it about finding himself? If you want to put it in the broad spectrum, yes. But in one movie, they would have just made him find himself in one of those categories. He had all of these up against him at the same time. And what I'm saying is, especially in black cinema, you've never seen that. You've never seen a story like this being told.
But one thing, DA, is that you say he finds himself when he cracks the kid with the chair, and that's the complete opposite. It's when he loses himself. Who he is.
I would say
is
him
at the end of the film.
I would say when you're
touching heads with his fucking soulmate.
Yeah, I would say when you're in a when you're having an issue with your behavior and it tends to be destructive, i.e. hitting somebody with a chair, you're definitely not finding yourself.
What happens is he gets jumped. He gets jumped by his lover, like his soulmate joins in and jumps him with a bunch of fucking bullies, and he snaps and hits one of the kids over with a chair.
All right,
and then he completely changes who he becomes. He's no longer I forget his name. What?
So I have a question,
Chiron or whatever his name is. He becomes black.
Is it? Do you feel? Let me ask DA this question. Do you feel that the story is? Let's kind of try to compile him being gay, living in the hood, him being black. Do you feel like? I know you think you said it earlier that that's why they won the Oscar or that's why it was so good because they brought these elements that were like so visceral and kind of just in your face. So the Academy or whatever just said, okay, well, we have to give it to them.
Yeah, they were like, oh, you know what? I didn't know it was this bad for gay people in the hood. Little black gay boys in the hood. My sympathy goes out to you guys.
I don't think the Academy thinks like that. Huh? I don't think the Academy thinks.
I think they do think like that for sure.
We have to be sympathetic, or we need to put something out there because we have no other black films in the category.
Well, right. I mean, what I think the Oscars are motivated a lot by is people think we don't like black people.
Exactly.
So we need to prove to the world that we love black people. So let's give awards to this movie. I do think that happens sometimes.
Exactly.
Like did
But the movie was deserving of the accolades.
It was.
In my opinion, this is one of the best films ever made in history.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think this is one of the best films that has ever been put to a medium and put on screen. I think this is one of the best.
Look at what besides this coming of age movie. What honestly, I mean, it's just like I really did. I feel the emotions in the movie. I felt them. You know, it's emotional. I just didn't feel like the movie really went anywhere. One, because look, it's really 3 parts of his life, right? When he's a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The adolescent, like, craving his mother's love, which he doesn't get. Right? That's a huge element of the movie we haven't talked about at all. It's his relationship with his mom.
Right. And right. I mean, in that, if you want to call it, in that sequence, what was happening? He was learning from to me, it felt like he was missing not only missing the love of his mother, but he was also missing his father, because when Mahershala Ali talked about his father, he was like, he didn't even say anything. He just stopped talking right there.
He becomes his father.
Yeah, he becomes his father. And he's
but think about the fact that his mother, the person that brought him into the world from his very first day in his life, is instantly rejected by the world. Instantly told by the world that he does not belong before sexuality is even a concept in his mind.
That's not true. They were talking about sexuality. They were talking about sexuality, him and his mother. It's implied that moment where the audio cuts out and she's yelling in the hallway
is that she calls him the faggot.
She calls him a faggot. Okay. Yeah.
You can see her. You see her mouth the word.
But it then later on is revealed that she say, "What are you looking at?" Or "What are you looking at?" I think
this is real life, man.
Hey,
I'm telling you.
Real life. Or I think it's it. I think it's a great slice of life kind of story. But I mean, honestly, once again, I just feel like it didn't go any. It didn't feel anything.
Okay, all right, all right.
But when you say he didn't go anywhere, he grows into his full potential. He grew into. I'm gonna send you guys a video, and it breaks down all of the things that I'm talking about, basically.
No, Lonnie, you can't do that.
See, where the disconnect is it's just like when I watched The Lighthouse, right?
No, that's not the disconnect.
No, listen to me. If you watch The Lighthouse, I don't know how many of y'all have seen it besides me. Yeah, I just know he was there for that podcast. But like The Lighthouse, the cinematography, like all this different, the acting performance, like it's phenomenal. I mean, it looks like the most Academy Award type of film you would ever possibly see. I was not interested in that film from start to finish. Yeah. And the reason being is because I don't have a connection to anything that deals with anybody living in a lighthouse. I just don't. So what I'm saying is with that movie, I didn't see the story progression. I didn't get what was necessary about him hallucinating with the mermaid, tongue kissing, crazy stuff. Like none of that made sense to me until after we sat on the podcast and y'all was explaining that. Y'all was like blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Still not interested.
It's a different type of film. It's more like an art film.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, there's people who see that and gravitate completely.
Of course,
what I'm saying, and Lighthouse is a pulling the curtain back type of film. Same thing with Moonlight. When Moonlight is almost kind of even like a beach bum, because even one thing about me and Lonnie, we have the advantage of living in Miami. So that's one element we're going to take on to. No, I've never been gay, but I see the added struggle to what the rest of us already had to deal with in the first place.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So to me, I see that where that story is, because like they literally showed him in 3 different stages, which they did a very good job of having 3 different actors pretty much act the same, like being very quiet or whatever. I thought that was good. But they're showing this 3 different stages of how he had to first even learn, like, wait, I think I like boys, but I don't even know what that means. But then people are calling me a faggot. Like, what does that mean? How do I supposed to know? Like, he's having this whole conversation, and then you're finding out your hero is the same person selling drugs to your mom. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of this stuff is happening in one cycle. This is a lot that's – and the point I keep making is only one of these situations could have been a movie by itself. You feel what I'm saying? But all of these was an element, because in real life, like Justin said, this is real life. There is people out there who have to deal with all these elements and not just the one. They don't have to deal with just the mom on drugs, just to be engaged, just to be imported, whatever.
And most of the time, people in the hood do have to deal with all these things.
Correct.
But here's the deal. I think that's why we're dealing with, in my opinion, the most subjective of art forms. Because while this is just my personal opinion, everybody is a different opinion. Because while DA thinks the cinematography was good, you probably just don't like the editing, DA. I've been around you for a while.
Look, I'll let you finish and I'll talk.
But it's whereas Rudy and Lonnie, you guys can connect on much more intimate and personal level, having lived in Miami and having seen these things. I don't know how it is in Arizona.
Honestly,
but,
Justin, it doesn't. I don't mean to cut you off, really, I don't want. I mean, Miami, of course, is special to me,
of course,
and I do have a connection. But this film, I mean, you could literally grow up in another country, in another universe, and speak a different language and have it subtitled to you. This is like a human story.
Human story.
Yeah,
totally.
Like the gay, the hood, and it's all, to me, it's all secondary. It's a secondary part. It's just added layers. So I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but it doesn't. It's. But
I think it plays a part, though. I think it plays a part.
It absolutely plays a part, but I think it's just like added. Like what Rudy is saying, that each one of these themes could stand alone as its own film easily.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally get it. It's just for me, like I said, it is a human story, and I know DA is a human. But it's still the connection for him in the movie is not as strong, even though he's a human, he has a heart, he has a soul, he has a family, he has love, he has all these different elements in his life, but it just hasn't permeated him as it has other people. So that's what I'm saying. It's so subjective, but
I'll say this and then I'm done, because you guys aren't going to change my mind. I think overall cinematography, acting, and story, I don't. My main problem with this movie is really that I didn't think it deserved an Oscar. That's really all.
You don't think it deserved any Oscar at all? I mean, it won Best
Picture,
cinematography
or
Best Picture. Yeah, Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, Best Written Adapted Screenplay.
I didn't think it deserved the screenplay, but mainly because I personally thought the story was okay. This is an Academy film. This is the type of movies that they like. Where
it's nominated, it just doesn't deserve to win.
Yeah, these are the type of movies that they like. If you look at all the Oscar-winning films, they're kind of majority like this, where it's kind of this slice of life kind of movie. If you even look at Mad Max Fury Road, it's kind of this slice of life movie.
How's that relevant to it being a good or bad movie, though?
I'm saying is, I thought the movie was good. I just didn't think it deserved an Oscar. That's why I'm really on the opposing side.
Yeah, DA likes La La Land better. He thinks La La Land should have won.
Rewatched it. I rewatched it, and a lot of stuff that I didn't see. A lot of stuff I didn't see the first time. But rewatching it this time, it was like, okay, wow, I can see how this is I like this story. My mind has changed, but I still stand by what I'm saying.
Number one, shout out to Mahershala Ali, because he won the Oscar and he was the least main character in this film. Like he died early and still won.
Badass actor.
Right.
Oscar in the first act.
Right. I tell everybody, if you have not watched this last season of True Detective, boy, you have missed one of the all-time great TV performances. Great acting performances.
Oh yeah.
This last season of True Detective, I still like the very first season better. But Mahershala Ali everything he does is phenomenal. But my God, I could not take my eyes off him when I'm watching this True Detective. Whether he's young, middle-aged, old, I'm like, oh my God, this dude is crazy. He's so good.
Unbelievable. And he's really a guy that can become the role. He really transforms himself.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. And one thing I appreciated about his character, I'm not sure if it had to deal with him specifically or just the writing, but this goes into this is a kudos for him, but what I disliked, the one thing I said I disliked about the movie was, I thought that outside of a lot of Mahershala Ali scenes seemed very just naturally played out. Whether he was talking to the kid, whether he was at the beach, whether he was talking to the little dope boy on the street, just it was just natural. Most of the other conversations, especially between Chiron and Kevin, the two lovers, like no matter what age they were, it just seemed like it was just way too much subtext. Like everything was subtextual. Let me cook for you. Let me play this song. Yeah. I mean, like it was, and I'm just like every single scene that they had was always, we're saying one thing but meaning something else. Like it was never just something played out. It was always in the dialogue that it was something, you know what I'm saying? And like to me, I felt like it's good for some scenes, but like every single time, especially those two met up, it was always something coded or whatever like that. And to me, it just got just too heavy. Like that
was probably a directorial choice.
For sure.
To have that much subtext in there.
Because like I said, because with Mahershala Ali, like his just felt, even when he was giving the kid life lessons, like, because one of the dopest scenes was when he was like, my mom do drugs? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you sell drugs? Yeah. Like, when he's answering these questions, knowing he wants to lie to this kid, but he doesn't want to lie to him, and that was no real subtext, whatever. That was just straight up, you say a simple line, I give a one-word answer. You say a simple line, I give a one-word answer. Yeah. And that was, I mean, it was phenomenal. And the fact that he's really hurt because, like, he knows why he's selling it, but at the same time, he's now seeing somebody who he's hurting by doing what it is, you know, that he's surviving off of, basically. And I just thought that was phenomenal. One more thing, DA, before you show the movie again. And another thing I thought was great. Once again, I don't know how many people relate to this, but one thing I grew up playing was throw 'em up, bust 'em up. They call it different names, different places. But the game where they basically had the football and you grab the ball and you run, and you one person versus everybody out there until you get tackled. And then once you get tackled, you throw it up, somebody else grab it. That's the game that you play in the South. And listen to me. When I seen that scene, I've never seen that in a movie. I thought that was phenomenal. And the way that they used it, where they was kicking the ball to him, like, you know, and they showing it on the camera, like they kicking the ball for him to get it. I've been that scary person before, even though I wasn't gay, but I've been that scary person. So when he didn't want to grab the ball, like that connected to me. Like that made the story move forward to me just in that scene by seeing him be intimidated by such a dangerous game that I also played for a very long time in my childhood. I just thought that was deep, man. There was a lot of things that they stuck true to in reference to being, you know, in Florida, in the South, whatever like that, you know, in a black neighborhood. Like they didn't try to taint it. Like it was pretty legit. All right, go ahead, DA. What you got? We're gonna move on after this.
I looked up the nominees of the Oscars that year, right?
Oh, I want to hear this.
I stand by my word. It definitely did not deserve to win over Fences. Fences was phenomenal.
For what? For best pick? It was for best picture, or what award did they win over?
And best adapted screenplay.
I'll tell you why it deserved to win over Fences. I'll let you go, but I'll tell you exactly why. I'm gonna explain to you exactly why it deserved to win over Fences.
Go ahead, tell me what's up.
Fences has been done. I'm not gonna say that that it wasn't done well. The movie was amazing. Fences has also been done a million times. It's been done so many times. I've never seen another movie of Fences. If they've ever done it, but it doesn't matter. Exactly. But the play has been done a million times.
Okay, we're not talking about the story.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does matter. It's
But he's saying, but that even that time period, that type of period piece, like that,
people have seen the characters, they've seen the story. Yeah, it doesn't matter what interpretations there are. Yeah. It's not. What I'm saying is, I'm saying you're looking at this from a viewer standpoint, from Academy standpoint. Fences, Denzel, it was all great. It was all amazing
for sure.
But we know what we're doing with we know what we're doing with Fences. We know what we're getting out of Fences. We're looking at something that is original and that is different. Have you ever seen this before?
Exactly.
It says adapted, so it came from something.
No, but that's because it adapted from a story that was already created. He didn't steal it from another movie. It was the first time this has ever been a screenplay. It was an adapted movie.
So okay, right. So if you have I'm saying I'm in full agreement. I'm in full agreement with you on how good Fences was, but in the decision making, it might have been 1 and 1A. You understand what I'm saying? It could have been like, oh my God, we got this great movie Fences.
So also to give you guys a frame of reference, Fences was not the one that they thought. I don't know if you guys remember, but when this film
I don't
they called out La La Land.
They called out La La Land.
Oh, see?
Right. And they changed it, but it was the wrong name.
La La Land should have won over Moonlight?
That was the heavy favorite to win, and Moonlight kind of came up from
La La Land
as the underdog.
Because like you said, because Fences is unfortunately can be considered a typical black movie in the sense of we've seen this story before. Like you said, even if we look at performances, screenplay, whatever like that, like you say, it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. It's like, well, we gotta choose one. Yeah. Well, we've never seen this before. We've never seen poor black gay in the hood. We've never seen this.
So wait, because I don't remember the Academy Awards that year. So La La Land was nominated over Fences.
Probably so.
So Fences wasn't even nominated. I don't remember the award season.
I don't know.
It was nominated. So when it comes to Best Picture,
La La Land was the heavy favorite over Fences.
Yes.
So DA, your argument doesn't even matter.
Right.
We're going to choose La La Land.
It's my opinion. It does matter. Somebody thought they were going to choose La La Land. Nobody like that.
All right. Well, let's move it right along to our second film. We have Deja Vu, directed by Tony Scott, starring Denzel Washington, Paula Patton, and a host of other people.
Yeah.
I think this was his last movie, right? Before he jumped off a bridge.
You're kind of breaking up, Lonnie. You're breaking up.
I think Tony Scott jumped off a bridge after this movie.
I think so.
Was this his last movie?
I don't know if it was his last movie, but
it was phenomenal.
I never knew his name until I looked it up for this movie. So I know,
Ridley Scott's brother. He directed Top Gun. Yeah.
I think you're exactly right. I remember hearing about that.
So anybody on the side of disliking Deja Vu?
Oh, I've got a bone to pick with this movie.
Oh yeah.
So you dislike it? Like you're on the side of thumbs down, or you just got one discrepancy? If it's one discrepancy, you can't be on the side of dislike. But if you say dislike, you got to defend why it's a bad movie or why you hate it.
You can't, Justin. I spent the whole last half hour talking about why I didn't like Moonlight for one reason.
This is one of my favorite movies. So I mean, I'm definitely on the side of liking it.
Okay. We'll talk about it. I'll lean into the side of liking it because I would say there's probably 60% I liked it and 40% I didn't. So I'll lean into liking it. There's a lot of good things about it, but man, there was some shit.
So let's just put you at 50-50. You at 50-50.
Okay, 50-50.
And you can give us both. All right. So what you got, Lonnie? Like or dislike?
I did not watch it again. I saw it a long time ago. I don't remember enjoying it that much. So I'm going to go with for me to only watch a movie once tells me I'm like, okay, I didn't really love that movie. Right. I mean, I watch movies I don't like 3 or 4 times just to make sure. But I just never got around to watching Deja Vu again. So, but I'm going to be like middle ground. I don't really know. I'm going to be unoriginal.
Figure it out as you hear more. I got you.
You guys will jog my memory.
Hey man, I said the movie was phenomenal at the beginning.
Oh, okay,
I did not think it was. I did not think it was phenomenal. I absolutely did not think it was phenomenal.
All right, go ahead, Justin. Take off. What you got?
All right. So I'm going to start out like this. Okay, I was born in the '80s. I grew up all through the '90s, so I remember distinctly '90s action films. All right, and this is a Jerry Bruckheimer film. This is very much a quintessential Jerry Bruckheimer film. From the music, from the opening scene. I mean, this is his movie. As when you're watching it. All right. So this came out in I think 2006 or 2007, something like that. But it reminded me of a film from 1997. It reminded me of The Rock, of like Con Air, of those type of movies. To me, for it to be coming out in the mid 2000s or coming towards the tail end of 2000s, it felt dated. It felt like it belonged in a different time period. And 2, although Denzel is Denzel, to me, it was a paycheck grab. He did not look like he was trying hard. He didn't see most of the movie. He didn't really seem interested. And they did two things. And it's an action movie. It's an action thriller, but to me it's more action than thriller. So they did two things, and I thought of like beginning film students when I saw this. They tried to give you a plot that was so far-fetched, which is fine. It's an action movie. It's Jerry Bruckheimer movie. You know, it's fine. But they tried to give you a plot that was so far-fetched and so outlandish, but because the plot is so absurd, then they try to infuse like so much exposition about like time travel and how to go about doing it. All these different wait. And all these different like scientific like theories and revelations about it, about sending something back. But what they're doing is they're spoilers. They're masking it by using like this satellite imagery and technology. But then they segue from satellite imagery and technology into time travel. Oh, we can send a note back. It's not possible. 30 minutes later, Denzel's like, oh, send me back. And the guy's like, okay, I'll send you back. Whoa, dude, you literally just took like a 30 or 45 minutes explaining how this is not possible. Denzel opens the door, or you open the door for him. He's like, I'll do it. Be careful, Denzel. I was like,
he called him and was like, he already knew what was up. He was like, hey, you know, you're going to be a guinea pig doing this. He already knew what was up, Justin. What the world was that?
No, you're wrong. None of them knew what was up. It was all theoretical. It was all theoretical.
No, look it. Yes, it was theoretical, but he called him.
Listen.
Did he not call him and say, you know, you're going to be a guinea pig?
There was so much of that, like him being in the future and giving notes back and all this stuff, that the whole plot did this. It was all fucking jumbled up.
No, it wasn't.
It was all jumbled. Yeah, it was. It was all jumbled up. And whenever the plot got too complicated, they threw in some fucking action scenes and some helicopters and shit like that to try to fucking distract you from the fact that you're watching a 2-hour movie that really fucking makes no sense.
That's
honestly.
not true. That's definitely not true.
Justin is very much describing it exactly how I remember it being. I'm very much trusting Justin's
Now, the through line with Denzel and his mission and his goal is the same throughout the whole movie. Right. And I understand that. He's got to stop this guy, okay? And on the side, he's going to save this girl, which he's trying to kind of make it his primary mission, but his primary mission really is to save 543 people. That's the real fucking goal. And for him to put so much, or for them to invest so much time and interest in him saving this one girl versus saving 543 people, I felt like, and I felt like the cops and everybody, they were kind of, it was all so easy and they were kind of on his side. But I'm like, dude, I understand you want to save this girl, but a ferry with almost 600 people is going to blow up.
Hold on, DA. I don't think it started there, because for one, he didn't even find out that was like a live thing, or it was, you know, it was 4 days in the past or whatever it was. He didn't find out
4 days in the past.
Right. So when he first came into it, he was on the case of trying to use this program that could help solve the mystery of who killed her. You know what I'm saying? But over time, yes, I guess he fell in love with her or whatever like that. So then his mission did change once he's like, wait a minute, she's alive? And then not only she's alive, you know, well, dang, maybe I can save my partner from getting killed however he died. Maybe I can save her. Maybe I can save the people in the boat. But I think it shifts over time. I don't think it just automatically like, hey, yo, I'm in love with this light-skinned chick on screen. Let me just go straight after her. Like they kind of put it in layers. And to me, like, I think it's a weird way of looking at things, but I think it makes it interesting for a movie. Like I don't think that like the storyline or the plot through line or anything about this movie is like has any depth in the sense of like, yo, this is an inspirational story you need to see. Like,
and it's not supposed to.
I don't think it's that deep, but in reference to like entertainment, like, okay, boom, you take this cop detective movie, whatever like that, you put them with the what's it called, DTA or whatever, with the explosive.
ATF, yeah,
ATF, right. So you take a kind of a different cop approach, and then you put them, you know, you get this machine, you know, we can see all this surveillance, whatever. Like, so all this stuff, to me, this captivating to an audience. You know what I'm saying? And then to come to find out, wait a minute, you're not telling us everything. Like, this is technically she's technically alive, even though we don't have access to her. But like if we wave the little thing in her face, she can see it. So to me, like
that was stupid. I'm sorry, that was dumb.
So Justin, I
that
think
was real dumb.
What's happening here is this is an action movie that is pretending to be a science fiction masterpiece.
But it's not. I don't think it's doing that because just like what Justin said earlier when he was saying he thinks it's more of an action than a thriller. Where the thriller comes in is that machine that they use to say, wait a minute, hold on. So he can actually catch this person. He can actually save these. Like, because Denzel even says the line in the movie, like, I spent my whole career always trying to find the person after they did something. I can finally stop somebody before they actually do it. So what I'm saying is, like, as a whole outlook on this movie, to me, I caught on to that even before he said it because I'm like, okay, boom, like, he can actually go back in time, if you will, without it being this super time machine, whatever, but he can try to time things up and set things up in this little ripple effect that can possibly change the outcome of what happened.
I get what you're saying, but it took them an hour and a half to get to that point. Okay? Yeah, there's a lot of extra fat on that movie that doesn't need to be there. It took him a long time to get to that point of, I need to go 4 days in the past. The whole first 30 or 45 minutes, it wasn't even discussing anything science fiction or anything like that. It's a cop on a mission on the case. Even when he gets in the office and they're trying to explain it to him, they're doing it. The characters are, God, they're so far apart. They're doing it in a way that, like, okay, for instance, when they're first explaining it to him and he's sitting there, he's like, and they're like, do you got it? Do you understand? And he's like, yeah. No, and he's being typical Denzel, little snarky, little sarcastic. Yeah, no. Yeah, I got it. No, not really. But it's like they're not trying to make it the other characters, and I don't know why all of them are in the room because they really serve no fucking purpose other than to see people die and fucking cry. There's only two of those people in that room that serve the purpose. Val Kilmer and the other guy that was a scientist. The other two were fucking throwaway. And any lines they had, I didn't fucking care about them. But go ahead.
Look at two things. The movie is called Deja Vu. What does Deja Vu mean?
But they didn't listen. They didn't even really like hone in on that until the very last line of the fucking movie.
But it's
when they were sitting in the car and he's like, "Oh, deja vu, fucking duh."
But to your point that you were just making about the scientists and all the information, they were beating around the bush because they didn't want to tell them it was a secret. It was a whole secret machine that they had. They couldn't tell the truth.
It was a secret machine with 500 people working in the building.
500 people working in the building. What do you think the government does? They have people working on the secret missions
and this machine just happens to be located in New Orleans of all places.
First of all, I didn't think
it's not in DC.
Like I thought they moved it there because they also had that portable one.
I don't know why it was there. I don't know about any of that. What I'm saying,
the portable visor, they were looking through one eye and trying to drive with the other.
But that's
that's the scene I remember from the movie is when he's driving through.
But I'm saying, but to me, I think that's a good scene because that shows that somebody, this is a new machine that they didn't think all the way through. Because if it they're thinking, okay, you can just use this drive and be good, not realizing, this man gonna crash because he can't see both at the same time.
Crashed into cars, and the cars were flying off the road.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's in Bad Boys. I mean that's in every movie.
Car rolled over and he says, "Call 911, call the paramedics." I'm like, don't get me wrong, I love a cheesy action movie.
He kills 11 people on his way to save one woman.
When people die in movies that you've never seen their face, you have no sympathy. You're like, fuck that car. It's like it's all action. It's just like, explosion.
You know what it was? They put Paula Patton in this movie in 2006, and he's like, I gotta save Paula Patton. I don't give a shit what happens to anybody else. I'm saving
I gotta ask. I have to ask. Have you seen Interstellar?
I have not. I have wanted to for a long time. I plan on watching it though.
If you watch Interstellar, I want to say it's kind of like it, but with more action. Because
I heard Interstellar was really good.
Dude basically, because if you look at the movie, the dude basically goes back in time, and he leaves clues for himself.
Don't give away the movie. Don't spoil it.
No, I haven't seen it, but I will say this: there's a big difference. I have to correct you on something. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between Jerry Bruckheimer telling a fucking science fiction type movie and Christopher Nolan. There's a
for sure. You remember Armageddon?
Hey, I'm not saying
dumpster fire.
I'm not saying it's on the same level as Interstellar. I'm definitely not saying that.
I haven't seen Interstellar, and I can already tell you that it's not. Christopher Nolan's a whole different kind of fucking dude.
But all I'm saying is, just like you guys were saying that Moonlight is a hero story, this is kind of the same story as.
Well, here's the thing: we don't even really get to know anything about Denzel. We're not even really invested in him emotionally. He's kind of just a man on a mission there. I'm not saying every story we have to have an intricate backstory for every character. I think that a lot of movies try to do that, but it's not necessary. But by the end of the movie, other than him having a partner who gets killed, who we just really don't give a shit about, they probably should have led the movie with that. That should have been the fucking opening scene, honestly.
But they kind of did. They suggested, because remember, like they showed his car was on the bote, and it was like, that's all the cars of all the victims from the ferry.
They showed it, and then he had some tears in his eyes, so it's implied that his partner died, but we don't really. To me, that's not really a payoff. Versus now, when they did the scene where his partner does die and goes up to the car and he shoots the car, I thought that was phenomenal. How they showed that scene, how they showed him. They sent the note back. The note, that was my favorite scene in the movie. The note's back because that tied into the beginning to me of, his partner died and he needs to go back and change that. But even though he tried to go back, that didn't matter because his partner still died. And he realized that in that moment when his partner picked up the note. To me, that was good storytelling. Because I'm like, okay, now you're tying these two plot points together. I get that. That makes perfect sense. Now I understand an hour into the movie, no matter what you do in the past, you can't change the present or the future.
Right.
Things are gonna happen how they happen.
That was constantly happening. The fact that they were tying a lot of stuff together
it was so like it was like they were trying to make that happen in the movie.
No, they were tying it all together. Deja Vu, it happened before.
They were tying the shoestrings under their shoes, man. They suck, dude.
To me, like I said, I just think it was an entertaining movie, even with the guy I can't think of the actor who played the antagonist. Like I think even his character, how he played it was very well. I've seen him play other characters as well.
Jim Caviezel. Yeah, he's a good actor.
Right. I think that whole setup. I think it was pretty.
But they did have I will say this: they did have a massive missed opportunity with Jim Caviezel. Massive, and I probably would have never noticed this other than being in film school now. Huge missed opportunity, and this is where you can tell the difference in directors. Okay, because a director who's concerned about story is not gonna. You ain't gonna fucking miss this. When he was in jail with him, and this is Jim Caviezel's only monologue. This is his only time really speaking. He doesn't have any other speaking parts in the movie. So when he's in the jail with him and he's interrogating, by the way, they just jumped right to that. They just fucking, we have him, he's on the boat, all of a sudden they capture him, boom, interrogation. So I'm like, oh, okay. 90s movie. So when he's in the jail, and I was really like, I clued into this. This is just my mindset. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna fall. I'm not gonna die, blah, blah, blah. It's destiny, it's fate. And Denzel's asking him something to the effect like, how do you know that? And he's like, you'll find out in the future, blah, blah. He has this whole thing, this whole like metaphysical, spiritual type of way that he's talking. You'll understand in time, blah, blah, you won't get it, whatever. They never followed up on that. I was expecting a huge payoff, like when he comes back, when he sees him on the boat or something like that at the end, he's going to remember him from the past or from the future. Even when he was in the car, he had the visor on and he looked towards the camera. I'm like, oh my God, they have a connection because they're crossing like the parallel time period. So that's going to come back to pay off later. Like, I fucking remember you from 3.5 days ago. That kind of shit. Never did that. Even at the end when he shoots him, bang, bang, shoots him in the head. That's it. No payoff whatsoever.
Right.
So that's what I mean. I'm not saying it was an entertaining movie, but even in an action movie, there's just huge, giant holes in the movie. Like
Right. And that's why I said I don't look at this movie as having really much depth at all. Like it wasn't a, you know, I don't look at this and be like, yo, whoever wrote this screenplay, you know, is that shit. But me watching this movie, I think just watching it on the basis and theoretically, now that I think about it, I haven't because since I didn't watch it this time technically, I'm just going off of the millions of times I've seen it, but I've never watched it like prior or after being in film school or, you know, whatever like that. So maybe I look at it, I may have a different approach. I have to rewatch it, but just going off of what I know from it, like I said, I've seen it at least realistically 20 plus times. And I've enjoyed it every time. And I think I think it's easy to just watching it as a viewer. It's easy to get caught up, not necessarily in a bad way, but get caught up on, especially the ending, like when it all is said and done, wait, did he really do this already? Like, you know, like, did he do this again? You know what I'm saying? Like, they kind of play that deja vu factor to see, like, was this really his first time going back and then really figuring this out? Or has he continued to do this over and over because of the blood cloth and the, you know, the cleanup or whatever that happened earlier, the words on the refrigerator. So, like, I thought that all of that is good enough mind-boggledness for an audience member that even though filmmakers are noticing, like, yo, in the interrogation scene, X, Y, B should have or could have happened, as an audience member, it's just like this whole deja vu mix-up is, you know.
And you get it from the beginning. The name of the movie is Deja Vu. So when you go watch Deja Vu, even as an audience member, I watched the movie way before film school. But when I go watch a movie like Deja Vu, I'm expecting like a Groundhog's Day type of movie. I'm expecting someone to be reliving events. So it's very much on the nose. They're not trying to really be this like deep reservoir.
But I think the main difference is, but it's not. They don't make him keep reliving it. That he just goes back the one time type situation and suggest that he may have been back before.
Exactly, and they don't. And that's exactly what I was talking about. And they don't say, or they don't come to that deja vu type of theme until they have a 10-second little moment there in the car with him and her, and they're listening to this song, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And he's the different Denzel, because the one that's in the know has already died. Then it's like, oh yeah, maybe. So I'm like, okay, is he gonna remember? Nah, and they just drive off. And I'm like, the whole fucking. Have you ever seen? Okay, I don't want to segue into a different topic, but have you ever seen what's the movie with Vince Vaughn and oh my God, the movie where they're in I'm sorry, I'm terrible at names. Movie where they're together, they break up. The Breakup, I think.
The Breakup.
Okay, so let me give you a perfect example. This is not deja vu, but let me give you a perfect example. All this stuff happens. They go their separate ways. Then at the end of the movie, they see each other, and there's a connection because they remember things. Now, it's not a scientific movie or anything like that. But they're like, without saying anything, without being on the nose, they're like, oh, yeah, I've changed, you've changed. I remember. And then you get it. There's a connectivity there. You're like, oh, okay, these people that were separated by X amount of time, they still come back, and we get that nice bow at the end. I was expecting when he was in the car with her at the end for them to tie it all together, and him, even though she says, do you remember? He's like, I didn't forget the refrigerator stamps or something like that. And so she's like, oh, okay, this is a different version, whatever the case may be. I don't understand all the scientific stuff, but you're still the same one. I didn't lose you. Because this is a different Denzel. She's not with the same guy. This guy could be an alcoholic, could be a total asshole. Right. Okay? He could have 3 kids. You have no idea. Oh, and they both got into a relationship way too fast. Way too fast. That's why I said the movie was dated, because that's what 90s movies used to do all the time. You used to save her life, and in an hour they're having sex. In all the 90s movies. So he saved her life. They're back in the house. She pulls a gun on him. She threatens to kill him. Obviously, he's like, I'll tell you a story you wouldn't believe. No, I won't believe it. Okay, yeah, I kind of believe it. And an hour later, they're at the docks. He's like, be safe. Kisses her, and then rolls out. So to me, this is not like a typical Denzel movie. That's why I said it was just a cash grab. This is not something that after seeing so many Denzel movies, it doesn't seem like something he would invest so much of his time and energy into. Training Day came, a couple years before that. So it's like, hey, it's a Jerry Bruckheimer film. I'm gonna make $40 million, $50 million, $100 million, whatever the fuck it is, and I'll do it. Whatever.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think Denzel Washington was like not on his A game on this one. It was very bullshitty. It was just like,
You know,
I'm
whatever.
just here.
Whatever. You know, they offered this movie. Script looks interesting. Gonna get a whole lot of money. It's an action movie.
I just made Man on Fire one of the best films.
I just made Man on Fire. Fuck, I don't know if he did Out of Time.
I did Inside Man.
I did Inside Man. I don't know if he did Manchurian Candidate before that or around that time.
Yeah, I think so.
I loved Out of Time. Out of Time was lit.
Out of Time was a brilliant sleeper movie.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. I still reference that movie all the time when I'm like working on something or whatever, and I'm like, you want to talk about a very contained type of thriller that is very simplistic, but man, it gets a lot. Denzel,
it's intense.
A lot.
Yeah,
it's intense. And it's in this small area. It's in Key West.
In the Keys.
Yeah, it doesn't take over the whole world. And you have legitimacy in the character. I want to talk about this movie. You have legitimacy in the character because he fucked up.
Right, exactly.
So this one was not that. Like I said, there was some good points to it, but I feel like a lot of it was throwaway, and I couldn't say it was phenomenal. I was just like, and I actually watched it again because I didn't remember it, so I watched it again today just so I could refresh my mind, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. You know, I know what I'm getting from it, but it's not gonna wow me.
Right.
Maybe to me it was phenomenal because I remember watching this when I was a kid. I don't remember it being like what I saw when I recently just watched it. When I recently watched it, I was like, damn, this shit is amazing.
This is better than Moonlight. This should have won the Oscar.
Right. All right, so let's move on to our final movie, The Old Guard, directed by Gina Prince.
You guys, I'm gonna have to take a quick pause.
Oh yeah,
He's got to go to the bathroom. All that water.
Another time.
Yeah.
But everybody's got their thing. But
right. All right. So last but not least, we got our final movie, The Old Guard, directed by
about this shit.
Gina Prince Bythewood. And I actually want to shout her out, starring Charlize Theron, of course, and a host of other people. But I want to shout out this director because I didn't realize who she was until I looked her up. And she directed some pretty dope movies, and one of my favorites being Love and Basketball.
Love and Basketball.
She also did Secret Life of Bees, which is another dope movie. Beyond the Lights, I've seen that as well, another dope movie. And a host of other things. I won't go down her whole resume, but
she's pretty good.
Yeah, no, she's dope, and I didn't realize, I didn't make the connection. Now I will say I could tell that this movie was directed by a woman before I ever even looked it up. I can tell you that.
I'm not shaking my head because that's a bad thing. I'm just
right. I mean, it wasn't like super feminist, but I definitely knew it was either Tyler Perry or a woman who directed it because the casting in this, like even in the military, like everybody was a woman, and I was like, oh, okay, they repping for the sisters, so I get it. But I'm on the side of liking it. I don't know if anybody disliked it. Anybody thought this was some shit?
I liked the movie. I liked it for what it was, and we'll talk about it, and I'll let everybody say their points. I know what they're trying to do with the movie. I get it, and I did some research on it afterwards. But I could tell during the movie, I'm like, I know where they're trying to go with this.
Right.
I personally don't think they're gonna be able to pull it off. But I liked the concept and the idea, and there was some really, really bright spots in it. Right. But overall, I'm gonna be real. My personal feelings aside, the movie was trash.
I don't think it was trash, but I agree in the sense I like the idea and the concept, like and even pertaining to the name, like being this whole old guard, like you know, like you got certain select people who can whatever. Like I get that, but I do think that
the concept was good, but the execution, I should say, to be a little better, did not pan out.
Exactly, and I feel the same way. I agree 100%. What you got, DA Lonnie? What you got?
Lonnie doesn't like it.
I don't like it.
I thought it was a pretty decent movie.
Okay, what you got?
I mean, I've seen this movie before. You know, I've seen Highlander.
Highlander.
I don't, this movie, it like it wasn't executed that well. I think, like I was telling Justin at the beginning is that, when I watch a military movie, I know what I'm looking at. I'm not, I'm in that top percentage of people that aren't, they'll say, oh, they're not going to notice that. I notice it,
Right, for sure.
Just like, this guy who is a sniper is carrying a sword that's like the length of his entire leg. And I'm like, that is stupid and doesn't make any sense.
Not to cut you off, but the fact that they were shooting and killing people with one shot who had on full body armor and they were shooting them with pistols was just beyond me.
So that's another thing of this movie is that every movie now, if it has shooting, it's John Wick. Every movie. And not as well. Like it doesn't do John Wick well.
What do you mean by I didn't see that? I know what John Wick is, but I never seen it. What do you mean?
Endless killing, never getting tired.
So John Wick is this like he's like the ultimate assassin. He's like he's like almost a superhero, but in a real world. But it's not so unbelievable to think that a human being could like train as much and become him. But oh shit. Let me know when I'm back.
You're back now. You're like back and forth. You're good.
I'm back. So basically, John Wick is this ultimate shooter. It's basically like he's in a shooting competition while everybody else is just, small, blind children. He is, but it's not above the realm of possibility that somebody could possibly, the ultimate Navy SEAL could maybe pull this off. But now every single movie, people are everyone in the movie is a fucking expert that can just like roll off of somebody else's back and shoot two people in the head from 30 yards away with pistols. It's like
each person
got
kill
these
like
guys
30
that are
people
supposedly hundreds or thousands of years old, and you're gonna tell me that they've mastered this like pistol shooting thing.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. They have time, but they have none of their own like personal flair. They're wearing fucking swords and axes and I'm like, show me something cool, man. Show me this guy is like a French fucking sword fighter and puts that some. You know what I mean? Like
I didn't enjoy the acting performance by the black soldier girl.
No.
The
acting was not good.
She was they pitted her next to Charlize Theron, who can act effortlessly in anything she's in.
And Chiwetel Ejiofor is a fucking gangster.
And he was completely wasted. He was wasted. He was absolutely wasted. They could have put they should have put him as the bad guy, as the main antagonist, and put the little 20-year-old fucking pharmacy guy as the fucking other dude. Really, to be honest. That's
a good point, man. That was a terrible. That is great. That would have been so much better.
The concept for this movie, like you said, Highlander. I fucking loved Highlander. I loved Highlander, the TV show, when I was younger. I thought it was. I remember being like 12 years old and being like, Highlander is amazing.
Right.
You cut people's heads off and you get their energy and their life force.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, that's exactly what this movie was. But there was one giant issue I had with this movie. Huge issue. Huge issue. So these people are 2,000 years old, 3,000 years old, whatever, 4,000 years old, million years old. They've studied, obviously, military tactics and planning for thousands of years. They are experts in hand-to-hand combat, experts in tracking, experts in this, experts in that, right? They're immortal. They can't fucking die, but spoilers, they fucking can't. But they do all this stuff. From the beginning, old boy shows up, gives them it says, hey, look, you got to go in here and get this. They've never met him before. They don't know fucking shit about him. And all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, let's go in and do it. So if you study all these military tactics for all this and all this planning for thousands and centuries, you want to be a fucking little skeptic? It seems like every time they went into a scenario, they were getting fucking shot and killed. They were getting bodied. Every single fucking time. I'm like, you know what? If you guys are really tactical and military, you suck. You are fucking terrible. And I don't have to be in the military to know that. I'm like, damn, you keep running into a room and getting killed. Wow.
Yeah, they got captured pretty easy.
Why are they still in the military? Like, why is this what this movie, like every movie, like that's a cool concept, having someone be immortal. But I'd like to see, and don't get me wrong, I love fucking action movies and war movies and stuff like that, but I'd like to see an immortal group of people that aren't fucking shooting people and cutting off heads. Like,
Jesus.
I don't know, make them fucking president or something.
Why are you still? Yeah, why are you still mercenaries? Like, why does it?
Right.
Like, at what point does it even fucking matter?
Do you still need money? Like you like sell your fucking thing from your house that you grew up in. You'd be worth $1 million.
If I was immortal like that, right, and I've lived and been through all these battles and all these centuries, I'm gonna probably be on a fucking island somewhere. Like, yo, I don't want to, because he even says in the movie, he's like, every time you get shot, it's still just as painful. You just don't die. Well, I don't want to experience that pain anymore. I don't really need to.
Right.
No, that's facts.
And there was a huge hole in the plot because when they went with old boy, like, nobody was looking for them. They were off on their own in their own world doing their own thing. They've been on vacation for like a year or some shit like that, off in their own fucking corners of the world. So nobody was looking for them. So they come back together and they're fucking, off seeking him out or trying to fucking make I know old boy fucking betrayed. That's a whole fucking thing. That was so stupid. He betrayed them, then he gets back with them. It's a whole fucking thing. But yeah, so they're living their lives. All of a sudden, we have to come back together and meet. And there's this secret planning. I'm with Lonnie. Like, why? What was the point of that? Where was the inciting incident? Like, why do you come back? What personal reasons do you have for doing this?
Right.
Hey,
quick question, DA. Did this remind you any of the Redlands? Just in reference to remember I was telling you about that. But I didn't want to point out because you hadn't watched it yet. But it was low key the deserty type of stuff. But it was mainly the relationship with the two girls. I was thinking about Akiko and Val or whatever. That's the main part I was thinking about, that whole situation.
One thing that I did like about this movie was I don't know about you guys, but for me the message was, as warriors, you kind of feel immortal and when you're fighting and whatnot. And then there comes a time where you have to retire. Because when she was started to realize she can die, she took life a little more seriously. And she realized, and then in the climax, she had this one last hurrah, where she was like, "Fuck it," and she just got the axe and just started killing everybody. So to me, it felt like, when you're in battle, you kind of, and you're winning and whatnot, you kind of feel immortal. But there comes a time that, like I said, you have to hang it up.
Well, I think they stuck to the theme really well. I not to say that the rest of the movie was great by any means, but I get the theme. I get that you have this immortality. You have this one thing that is sought out by anyone. Nobody ever wants to die. But at the same time, though, now that you've lived for generations and you've seen everybody come and go, and you've lived through all these battles and you've lived through all these situations, is it really worth it to keep continuing on? And I totally get that. I totally understand that. But I think that, and I thought the concept was, like I said, I thought the concept was really, really interesting. And I was like, damn, they got Charlize Theron in this?
Right.
Yes. You talk about budgets. Like, how much do they fucking shell out for this fucking movie? Because she's not coming in cheap. That's why they got fucking like no names for everybody else, pretty much. But it just was executed so fucking poorly. It was executed so poorly. I mean, even the antagonist, the main bad guy, he's like 20.
Yeah, I didn't like
the weirdest looking person I've ever seen in my life.
He was so weak. I'm like, golly.
I feel like they tried to do the British villain. Like,
what was the purpose?
But you've got Chiwetel Ejiofor, and he's like the perfect fucking British villain.
And he's sitting there. Literally, he's gonna be the fucking the whatchamacallit in I can't even think of the Marvel character movie's name. He's the antagonist for the Doctor Strange character.
Oh, the new one that's coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, like Mordo or whatever. I mean, this damn, what a wasted fucking opportunity. You have a fucking A-list phenomenal actor.
And they even made it seem like his part was going to be bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with him in the beginning of the movie.
They're obviously setting it up to be a series, so maybe
they're setting it up to be a series, but I honestly, and I think that's probably why they put in the story that she can die, because there's no way that you're going to get Charlize Theron in a long-form series. It's not going to fucking happen.
They're like, hey, so make sure you put it in the script. Eventually, your wounds stop healing.
I knew that once she touched her back and she's like, oh, now I can die. I was like, oh yeah, they got to get. She's gonna get out of here, and if they do make it a series,
the black girl's gonna take the lead. Yeah,
totally.
They already filmed the part of the second movie where she dies.
Yeah.
They
so
filmed that in the first movie.
Because everybody else is really like, I mean, not saying they're not good actors in their own right, but do you really know anybody else? Do you know any of the supporting characters? So you could have a complete series with them, because not like they have any A-list fucking movie obligations. So I kind of saw that, but and there was two things I thought that were really interesting, and hopefully if they explore this, then maybe they'll reel me back in. First of all, the drowning of her friend when they put her in the fucking thing and threw her at the bottom of the ocean, and she's been looking for her for so long. I thought that was I really liked that. I thought that was really, really, really interesting. That hooked me.
It was.
Because I was like, who is she? How important is she? What the fuck kind of steel fucking casing apparatus was that they threw her in? And they threw her at the bottom of the ocean to where she drowns and then comes back to life. She's been there for like 500 or 1,000 years. I was like, okay, all right, you guys got me with that one. That was a hook. So
definitely
see where they go, and I will commend them for the small military scene they had when they showed them doing what's called quarter knocks, giving out candy, actually doing like a search on the house, actually asking people for information. They were in Marine Corps uniforms. They were using correct rank. They were even showing how to actually breach a door. So they had a ton of accuracy there. So for me, being as someone that's been in that situation, I was like, okay. I was like, all right, you guys had a consultant that knows what's going on. Right. It's not all shoot 'em up, bang bang. You give out soccer balls, water, and candy. I get that. The hearts and minds. Right. So like I said, there were some spots in there where they were hooking me, and I was like, oh shit. But but the primary goal and the reasoning for doing what they're doing, the fight scenes were, I didn't mind them. I felt like they were John Wick. I completely agree. I like the fight scene with her and the girl on the plane. I like the hand-to-hand combat scenes where there's no weapons, no nothing. I thought that was great. But they really screwed up when they put the girl next to Charlize Theron in so many scenes in terms of acting, because it completely. I've never seen anything.
She was supposed to seem like, as far as her character was supposed to seem like the young, inexperienced person, but she just ended up looking like the person in real life as an actor, being young and inexperienced.
That was inexperienced. Right, absolutely, 100%. She wasn't there. And you have an A+++ talent standing next to you, and you just got slaughtered in terms of how you're viewed on screen. To me, no pun intended.
No, for sure.
So I thought that was miscast terribly.
Yeah. Had you seen this before you had told us about it, and you wanted to see what we thought about it, or you was your first time going into it?
I knew that it had just come out on Netflix, right when we were like messaging each other. Gotcha. And I wanted to I didn't know what movies you guys were talking about, but I was like, it's at Charlize Theron, it's a Netflix, it's a big movie, it's easily accessible, and I haven't seen it, and I saw the trailer. I was like, this looks pretty interesting as far as the trailer goes. So I was like, this will be an interesting movie for me to just kind of throw in there and see what everybody thinks about it. Gotcha. But could have been a lot better. I remember at the end of the movie when they were like, I don't know if this was editing or what happened, but they were like, he's the little young guy, the little scientist, whatever. They're like, he's getting away. He's on the elevator. And they were they showed a scene of a car driving away.
Right.
And then he comes out from around the corner, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What is happening?
First of all, that the ending was 20 minutes in itself. Like I remember like once they had finally solved everything as a group, it was still like 13 minutes left, and they just kept showing, I guess, all this setup for the next it was a very long ending. They kept just splashing in scenes at the end, like it was.
But that's kind of the failure of Netflix. They do TV series well, but movies, Netflix does. I don't know. They just greenlight.
It's hard. But Netflix original movies. It's
not
hard.
good.
There's a movie that came out called Extraction with Thor, the guy that plays Thor.
Yeah.
It's an action movie, and it has some like John Wick vibes to it, but it's very good.
Extraction is very good. Okay,
Extraction is definitely worth a watch.
There was another one that had Ben Affleck in it. It just came out.
Triple Frontier. That one was okay.
It was okay, but it was another one that the concept was good, and you have huge talent in it. Yeah. And I think it had Charlie Hunnam in it too. It had big names. But
Oscar
when you watch
Isaac.
it at the end, you're like, man, that should have been way better.
Way better.
Guys, ex-military, mercenaries, they got to get a bunch of money. They're going into Colombia or wherever they're going to get a huge amount of money and a giant drug deal that's happening. They're all like, Navy SEAL commandos.
Yeah.
It's Ben Affleck. This should be a win-win.
Yeah.
There's no way this movie. But when you watch it, you're like, okay, cool.
But Extraction is the opposite. You go into it with low expectations, and you come out being like, man, that was a fucking good movie.
Quick question before we wrap it up. Did anybody was there like a symbolism behind the axe? And the only reason I'm asking is because I can see it on the DA screen. Like, was that supposed to be something? The axe was. It didn't, like, I seen them carrying it around, but it didn't seem that important besides cutting.
I mean, I think if anything, the symbolism was just that it's like old, that she's had it forever, but I don't really.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it made the cover. That's why I was asking. Like,
I don't know if there was any symbolism. It was lost on me. I know the bad guy picked it up in the end, and he was looking at it like it was going to give him some fucking kind of super.
Right.
Then he was more interested in that than anything else.
Right. And then it was nothing.
He was like, "Oh, I have this axe." And I'm like, if that's not a Thor axe, I don't know what the fuck you gonna do with that.
You know what's possible is maybe that was a thing that they edited out of the movie.
Yeah. DA should have done the editing.
All right, cool. All right, so did anybody have anything else for Moonlight, Deja Vu, or The Old Guard? Any last words?
Don't watch Moonlight. No, I'm joking.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So before we get out of here, let's play this guessing game of budgets and box office numbers. So we'll start with Moonlight. So whoever, y'all can just throw them out there, whatever order. So what do you guys think the budget was for Moonlight?
$4 million.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 10. I'm gonna say 10.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna go kind of high on this. I'm gonna say 20.
So 20, 10, and 4. The budget for Moonlight was $1.5 million.
Wow.
Woo! That's just
wow.
Wow.
That was, I guess that was before Mahershala Ali took off like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
1.5 million. All right, and then what do you think the box office was?
I'd say, God, I don't even want to say 20 million. I would say the box office maybe 15.
15?
I'm going to say $56 million.
56?
It did 2 rounds. I remember it doing 2 rounds, limited release, and then it did a wide release. I'm going with 70.
You said 70, 56, and 15.
Yeah.
The box office actual retail price. No, I'm just kidding. $65.3 million.
Whoa, shit. Yeah. Wow.
Big come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was real.
Big come up.
Way low.
All right. Deja Vu. What do you think the budget was?
Had to be $100 million.
Yeah.
100 million?
Yeah.
Both of y'all are choosing 100 million on the dot?
Well, no, I'm gonna choose something else.
I'm gonna say 75, but it's up there.
75, 100.
I'm gonna say 55.
55, 175. It's actually 75 on the dot, $75 million budget. And what do you think it made in the box office?
I'm gonna say it made 50 million.
50? Not even get it back, huh?
Mm.
Denzel was hot at that time, so.
Yeah, but
He
he made Inside Man, and well, that's true, Man on Fire.
Yeah, he was at the peak of his powers.
I'm gonna say 100 million, Drew.
100 million.
I was out of country, so I don't know what the movie was like here. But.
I'll say 75. I'll say it made its money back.
So 75 broke even, 50 and 100. Box office, it made $180.6 million.
Wow.
You're right. They're like, yeah, it wasn't that great movie, but who cares?
All right, and then finally, The Old Guard.
Oh shit!
What do you think? What do you think the budget was?
I would say the budget for The Old Guard was. I'm gonna go with a cool 100 million. We're in 2020, so.
Cool 100 million in 2020. What you got, DA and Lonnie?
I want to say 20. But my mind is making me gonna say, I want to say 50 million.
50?
I'm going to say 30.
30? And what'd you say, Justin?
I said 100.
You said 100. Okay. The budget was $70 million, which I'm sure Charlize Theron got.
I'm sure she got the lion's share.
Right. And of course, I mean, since definitely I can't get the box office, but instead I looked up the Rotten Tomatoes score. So just throw it out there. What do you think it made on Rotten Tomatoes?
I think it probably did 70%.
70?
I was gonna say 67.
61.
61.
Hey man, I'll be saying $1.
It actually got an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Jesus.
Rotten Tomatoes lies.
But I think when I looked it up, I think the audience score was like 71. No.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's a John Wick type movie. You know, with some supernatural, spiritual stuff thrown in. So I could see where a lot of people would gravitate towards it. Plus, Charlize Theron was phenomenal in the movie. So I could see where people would say, "Yeah, we're into it for those reasons, and that'll carry it."
Right. You know. Gotcha. So before we get out of here, Justin, man, you got anything going on that you want to promote? Whether it's your Instagram, website, projects, whatever.
Yeah, my Instagram. I'm working on really getting it up and running so I can you know, be in the social media world. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm getting to it. So it's Marvel00784. And I will have a ton of content coming soon. And then yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I mean, I really don't have anything to plug. I have my script, but it's still a work in progress. Go see my movie when it's out.
Right.
But no, that's really it. You know, thanks for having me. This was
man. Appreciate you coming, bro, man. I wanted to get you on here, and then once you reached out and kind of made the comment, you was like, yo, I got to get in these conversations. I'm like, yeah, we definitely got to go ahead and get it.
Absolutely, 100%.
But we had way too many male guests. So I was trying to get more women on before we look misogynistic and you know and all the above. I was just like, yo, because you know it's already male on here, and then we was just bringing on constant male guests. I was like, let me hold off for a second before we look bad out here.
Of course.
So got you, man. Yeah, well, no, we definitely appreciate you coming, man. This was, you know, it's always great talking to you, man. Definitely look forward to. I guess hopefully it don't look like we're gonna be back in NIFA by the time either one of us graduate. But you know, hopefully we'll cross paths in person. Whenever
I'm gonna need a lot of help with my movie for sure.
Yeah.
I need people that want feature film credits.
Right.
That will work for food.
For food and free COVID-19 tests.
Man, oh man.
Because that's the thing now on set. We've learned all about that. So you get that scoop. But Lonnie, social media. You got any comedy shows coming up, anything?
I got nothing, buddy. I'm not going to comedy shows anytime soon. But you can follow me here, Cox Comedy, and see me do absolutely nothing.
Gotcha. Mr. D.A. Henry.
Hold on. I can't find
Wow.
it. Oh my God.
Wow, is that naked photos in your? Jesus.
What, these?
No, just say your Instagram so we can get out of here.
Yeah, just do whatever takes the longest. To...
I'm telling you, like Jesus Christ.
So I don't have anything besides the Redlands coming out, guys. So stay tuned for that. Yeah.
So you
want to watch the Redlands? You wanted
to find that picture just to say that?
No, I was trying to go back to the Spider-Man picture, but I couldn't find it.
Oh, okay. You don't want to say your Instagram or nothing?
No, because I'm gonna put it up there, so I don't need to say it.
All right. Well, anyways, so I am Rudy Wilson. You can follow me at Willy Nilly if you're nasty on Instagram. No Life Boys Productions on Instagram and YouTube. That's where all of our content goes up. NOLIFEBOYZZZ Productions. And then, of course, RudyComedy.com. I have all this content as well. Mr. Stapleton, we appreciate you, man. Like I said, it's always good to see you, hear from you. You know, I'm glad everything's going good for you. You're alive and well, man. Man, keep fighting the good fight out here in these cinema streets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we'll make it happen, you know, some way, somehow. So
somebody give me some money.
Yeah. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is Dumbass Film Students. We post these every single Thursday. So check us out. We out.